Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is another reaction to Steins Gate. And it is the first episode of Steins Gate Zero. So if you haven't done it already, please watch 23B first. My reaction to the change in the line so that we can complete watching Zero. As always, if you want to see the reaction itself, please go down to my descriptions. There is a link. Just replace the circumflex dot parts with real dots and you can see the complete reaction. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear me out, because here I will discuss and analyze this episode. So, see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back. Now, that was a great start. In many ways, surprising, because there are quite a lot of changes in the characters, not in their behavior, more in their outward appearance. I was kind of used to how specific characters looked like, you know, from Steins Gate. And if you have a look now, many of them wear different outfits. It's still them, but they're different. I mean, it's December, so it's pretty cold. It makes sense. But yeah, that already gives you a vibe that something is completely different. Kiyoma himself is wearing something else as well, as we can see in this picture here. Way more grown-up, student-like. But yeah, not so sure if I'm happy about that. So let's see. Let's go through it one by one. I wrote down a little bit of stuff. We have a short glimpse on the future, which is interesting to see. So we had the view in the year of 2036. During the Big War, more neither, I guess, at the end of the Big World War, because from what it looks, world is already pretty much down. We see that Susuha calls Mayushi her big sis, which is interesting. So she grew up with her. I mean, I can understand it. Many of the persons we've seen call her big sis. We have seen this from the daughter of Mr. Brown that does it as well. Still waiting for him and his girl to come back into the series. I guess they will be in. So she looks up to her as a big sister as well, which is very fitting. It's a bit sad that Mayushi kind of has regrets and thinks she might have changed it. We know that it would have been the difference, because in 23 to 23B, the difference really is that she kind of pushed him to do it. And she is the one that really has the most influence on Kiyoma. There was a kid standing next to her. I'm not sure who that was, a little girl. I can only guess. It might be that Mayushi has a kid. Might be. But by the age of the kid, we cannot be sure if the father will be around in this series or not. But it is a major thing. When they show it, I guess we will have maybe a little bit more of this kid in the future. Although it might very well be, by the way that Mayushi is acting, she's always the one very emotional and helping, that it isn't even her kid. It might very well be it is a kid she found on the streets who may have lost its parents during the war, and she just takes over as parent. That would be very fitting for her. So that's an option as well. I'm not sure. She said something about Hikoboshi. I am not sure if this is relating to another person or if it is like something like a phrase, a name in Japanese, which means something related to Kiyoma, because it felt more like she was referring to him, but used another name. So in case this Hikoboshi is something like, I don't know, big brother, best friend, stuff like that, a synonym for something, please tell me. Yeah, that's the future. Interesting to see, but, well, hopefully not something we will have to see too much. And now let's talk about Kiyoma. So we have seen it already in the last episode that he has changed a lot. We've seen it to the end of the last episode. So he's wearing black. If you remember, he wore white all the time, the white coat. So that's already a big change. Although it is not so much of a change in general, he still looks kind of the same. But he tries to act more adult, more grown up. In many ways, strangely enough for me, it feels like Mayushi said it in the train as well. You're so grown up now, you're making your way, stuff like that, you know? So he behaves like a normal adult should do in the view of many people. But then, this is exactly why he's losing stuff. Yes, it might be in general a good thing, but his genius, his lively nature, the good way he was, you know, the good person he was, is because he was not really growing up. He still was acting childish from time to time. He behaved strange, and people would say he's a weirdo and is not fitting in. He will never grow up. But that made him special. That made him good. That is why those people who are around him like him. That's why he's fitting in with them, and you can see it in so many ways, especially in the scene that I have as a picture here with Faris. And it hurts to see it like that, because she is completely going for the game they had together. Yes, in the back of her mind, she knows it's just a game, possibly. You know, the shadow organizations and people spying on each other and stuff like that, which they always played. And he is refusing to play. That's it. She's a cat, right here. It's very fitting. She's a cat that wants to play. And he is completely ignoring it, completely denying it towards her, towards Mayuri as well, towards all of his friends before. So he is acting differently. And he kind of takes himself out of the group. And that is painful to watch, because they do not show it completely, but you can... I'm pretty sure that there is pain for all of these girls and all of the other characters who interacted with him. So it's possibly... I mean, we all know why it's happening. He does it because he tries to avoid having to do anything with stuff that reminds him of Makis Kurizu, because he is in pain about that. So he tries to avoid everything where he ever met her, which is mainly the lab, and with all his friends before. But by doing so, he's cutting off his roots. And that would be bad. There are moments, though, which you can see where he is, for a moment, falling back. So he's not completely gone. He's just trying it. You can see it in the way he's standing here and looking, that in the end, he is still in there. The old one. He just tries to behave differently. So, I think it's in many ways, I think his friends and especially Mayushi, but the others as well, could influence him, if they really wanted to, could influence him to come back, to at least partially be what he was before. The idea of studying is not a bad one at all. It's a good idea. I mean, he wants to improve his life. That's something honorable and good, and I would... As a friend, I would say go for it, study. If that's what you want to do, do it. But don't lose yourself on the way, because that's what he's doing right now. But we have fate on our side, which means second half of the episode happened. And I mean, there were a lot of things happening. I wrote down some stuff that I realized, like from the edge of the eye, happening in the series, which wasn't mentioned directly, which could be clues for the future or nothing. So I've seen a window with a red triangle on it. I was like, okay, I write that red triangle out on my paper because that's strange. Stuff like that. Then in the TV, something was mentioned about some kind of a sickness with hallucinations going around. So there seems to be like a disease. Maybe it will come in later on. Maybe it's just fluff. Filler, you know. So we will see. And then we went for the professor and his little assistant, which possibly I shouldn't call little. So she's nice. I already saw her approaching when the guy before her left, and we had a very short glimpse of Kyoma standing behind his desk and someone approaching from the left side, and it was cut immediately. But I was like, okay, that's gotta be an important person somehow, because everyone else is like dressed and normal hair and stuff like that. And this person was a bit smaller and had full green hair. Was like, what the heck? And when you can watch it through all the episodes, everyone who looks kind of abnormally freakish, somehow gets drawn to him. That's it. It's the nature of the series. If you are behaving in a way which I would like to say is entertaining and an interesting person to meet, and society will possibly say, oh no, not another weirdo, that's your guy. Go for him. So, we met Yayo Maho. I'm not completely sure how to pronounce her name. So she's 21. She's older than Makis Kurisu was. I think she's even older than Kyoma. She has the body of a girl or maybe a teen. As he put it, Daru would go for it. Yeah, for sure. Legal lolicon, yeah. And I guess she's pretty clever. I'm pretty sure that she knows Makis Kurisu from the past personally, as does the professor, Alexis Leskinen. And they used the papers of Makis. They used the knowledge, her theories, to create something called Amadeus, which I like. It's a cool name. Always referring back to Amadeus Mozart, maybe, or maybe something else. But it's a really, really good name for an AI, which possibly will destroy the world soon. So it's the idea of extracting, without deleting, I guess, just copying your memories from the brain of a person and being able to put it on a hard drive. And not just the memories in the meanings of bits and bytes and the knowledge, but the consciousness, the emotions as well. So there are multiple things to say about that. Number one is you will need an awful lot of space to do that. Because although we might be pretty far in science, the human brain and our memories and what we have stored in our heads is massive. Is really, really much. It's not just, like the memories, it's all those subconsciousness stuff, like knowing how to walk, how to talk, how to breathe. All this is, although we think it's automatic, it is stored in there as well. So there's so much more. That's a lot of space they need for it. So I guess that Amadeus, it's not like a small laptop or anything. It's possibly like a supercomputer somewhere with clusters of networks, maybe even around the world. So that's one thing. The consciousness and the meaning of having emotions and feelings. This might be good, or it might be really bad. If you have the series about how AIs, who are taking over our world step by step nowadays as well, are a problem for mankind, it's very often in science fiction and everything like that, the problem that they don't understand feelings and they are just going logically. So if you have if you create an AI, let's say Amadeus, and you give him the job to make sure that the world is in peace. Just saying, it's a good idea. Make sure the world is in peace, your number one priority. You don't put in the laws of robotics from Isaac Asimov. Instead, you just say, make sure the world is in peace. What would a logical computer do? Who is disrupting peace all the time? It's mankind. Okay, let's kill all of men. Afterwards, the world is in peace. It's working. Seriously. It is somehow logic. Although he would have first to create war, so he wouldn't possibly do it like that. But if he could find a way to destroy mankind without having a war, like poisoning them all at the same time, that's something he would consider. A pure logical AI would consider stuff like that, because it's just, it's an option. As someone with feelings and emotions and consciousness, especially consciousness, he would know ethics and the idea of equality and all this stuff. He would understand it on a other level than just logic, and thus he would hopefully not go for it. Instead, he would say, no, I can't do that, and I know what you mean. You have a wish for world peace. That would be the good option. The bad option is, if you have emotions, you have the dark emotions as well, like fear, anger, hate, all of that. You cannot put in one side and skip off the other. You cannot give an AI or whatever just the positive emotions and get it rid of the negative. It's not working. It's like light and darkness. Both sides have to be there. So that's a dangerous thing to do. That's it. So we will learn about Amadeus more, I'm pretty sure. And last but not least, we have finally the mother of Susua in the mix. That's kind of interesting. So she, I like that they did show the moment when Daru and her met. I'm kind of hoping that we will see a bit more of their interaction, because it's, having a little bit of romance in is always nice. The problem is hiding from her the fact that her daughter is around, that she is about to get a kid together with Daru, although they are just starting to meet each other. So this could screw up a lot, no question there. But she's fitting in the group of the people, so maybe that's it. Suzu hasn't given up. I'm not sure. I mean, they have a time machine now. I'm not sure where this is going directly. We will see. And last but not least, we have Moika back in as well. And she is still using her phone. We've seen that. And she was talking to the assistant. So there is the option that she once again is used as a tool for CERN. Which would mean that Mr. Brown or someone similar is back in the mix as well. I mean, Kiyoma knows how it works, so if she is used, he knows where to go to. It's Mr. Brown. Although the last time he did it, Mr. Brown killed himself, so maybe not the best option. But at least he has, we have more or neither everyone in the mix now. They're just, as I said, just Mr. Brown is missing and his kid, and I think everyone else is in. I mean, Kurizu is in there. So, that's it. A lot to start with, a lot of informations, a lot of background already, characters, new characters, which is nice, and well, we will see where all of this is heading. As always, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you the next time. Until then, my name is Relax and Panic, goodbye, and out.